Before the commencement of public business, the official letter was read to members by the second deputy speaker who was presiding at the time of the president's 6-day working visits outside the country.
In accordance with Article 59 of the Constitution, I write to inform you that I will be traveling outside the country in the afternoon of Monday, 19 June 2023, to Cordoba, Spain, at the joint invitation of the King of Spain, His Majesty Felipe Juan Pablo Afonso the Sixth, and King of Jordan, His Majesty Abdullah II bin Al Hussein, to participate in the Aqaba process meeting of West Africa and the Sahel, scheduled to be held on 20th June 2023 at Cordoba. Therefore, I will travel to Paris, France, at invitation. I will travel to Paris, France, at the invitation of the French President, His Excellency Emmanuel Macron, to participate in the summit for a new global financial pact to be held from 22nd to 23rd June 2023.
Majority Leader Osei Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu hence raised the argument in an attempt to give clarity on the misconstruing of the president's absence, meaning to be his inability to function.
Often we listen to such communication from the office of the president. The relevant provision in the Constitution is to this effect, that whenever the president is absent from Ghana or is for any other reason unable to perform the functions of his office, Mr. Speaker, it presupposes that if the president is absent from Ghana, he is unable to perform the functions of the president, which we all do know is incorrect. Mr. Speaker, so when you come to 11, it provides that where the president and the vice president are both unable to perform the functions of the president, the Speaker of Parliament shall perform those functions until the president or the vice president is able to perform those functions. The critical issue is mere traveling outside the jurisdiction. Does that amount to inability to perform the functions of the office of the president? It doesn't. The Speaker, in any event, he is there as the President of the Republic.
This, according to him, forms part of the holistic concern some of them hold, for which they are calling for the review of the Constitution.
Yes, Speaker, so I'm saying that I don't think that mere absence from the jurisdiction should be construed to mean that the President is not able to perform the functions of his office. He leaves to the United Nations to attend conferences as the President of the Republic. How can anybody construe that to mean that the mere fact that he's outside amounts to inability to perform the functions of his office? When he's there, recognizably as the President of the Republic, and is performing the functions of the office of the President. And I think that, Mr. Speaker, it should be part of our engagement. It's the reason why some of us are proposing a holistic review of this Constitution. Because there are so many things that really, come to think of it, are incongruous with reality.
MP for Okankwe Central Patrick Boama, rising to his feet, disagree with the majority leader, giving this understanding while referring to Article 68.
Yes. So whenever the president is absent from Ghana or is for any other reason unable to perform the functions of his office, the vice president shall perform the functions of the president until the president returns or is able to perform those functions. And you read Article 59, absent from Ghana. And it states that the president shall not leave Ghana without prior notification in writing, signed by him and addressed to the Speaker of Parliament. The Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Article 130 on the interpretation and enforcement of the Constitution. These provisions, among other provisions of the Constitution, has been tested at the Supreme Court in the Samuel Kyei-Mensah and Professor Kwaku Asare versus the Attorney General. At the Supreme Court, at the highest court, and the decision of the court was that any time the president was absent from the jurisdiction, the vice president must act, which is clear. In his absence, the Speaker, and the Supreme Court went ahead to state that the Speaker must subscribe to both oaths as provided for under the Constitution. So, it is very clear from our laws that any time that the president is unable, because the Constitution does not anticipate any vacuum.
However, Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak and former Minority Chief Whip rebated with the argument that indeed there is no ambiguity in majority leadership's submission, but this rather calls for the amendment or, so to say, review of the Constitution since it's long overdue.
You remember very well the Constitutional Amendment Commission, the work that they have done. I keep asking, what is preventing us as a country from implementing the recommendations? Because since the Sikh Parliament, since 2013, we have virtually iced it. And all of us keep talking about the constitutional amendment. Yet a lot of work has been done. It is just to implement and finish it. And we've left it hanging. And yet all of us keep complaining about it. Are we anticipating another all over a fresh amendment? Because remember what they did was very extensive. They moved region by region. I mean, the document is very voluminous. Let's take steps to make a lot of changes because
Lands and Natural Resource Minister Samuel Bujinapo categorically stated that the Constitution is very clear. His clarifications.
Mr. Speaker, I want to draw the House attention to the provisions which have already been articulated, which is Article 59 and Article 68. And Mr. Speaker, I want to submit that, respectfully, I don't find any ambiguity whatsoever in Article 60, Article 59, and Article 68. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, Article 59. Article 59 states, the President shall not leave Ghana without prior notification in writing, signed by him and addressed to the Speaker of Parliament. The Speaker, the first submission I want to make is that this article is speaking to a completely different matter. It's talking about the legal creature of the President leaving Ghana and the requirements imposed on the President to inform Parliament in writing when he leaves the country. Mr. Speaker, I will suspect that the framers of the Constitution deliberately gave this instruction in one article different from Article 60, which talks about who acts when the President leaves the country. So the first submission I want to make is that Article 59 is a different dictate completely by the framers of the Constitution, which is the President leaving the country and what he ought to do. When he has to leave the country, he has to inform Parliament. It must be in writing. Mr. Speaker, then Article 68.
Second Deputy Speaker, who was presiding at the time, equally gave the stake on the matter.
The Constitution is not talking about the fact that he cannot function. That's why he's outside. When you look at Article 59, it is explicit that the President can never travel outside the jurisdiction without informing Parliament and by extension the whole country. I think the import of this letter or communication is just to inform us that he's outside the country.